Good morning and welcome to Political Voices on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Political Voices is a session of comments, interviews and analyses of trending political issues as they affect and shape the world around you. Today is Wednesday. It is the 22nd day of July 2020. This morning, our focus turns to the state of public utilities in the Southeast. We'll look at the issues and the concerns. But before we get there to the discussions, there are a few stories that are trending in the political space. The House of Representatives has given conditions for the implementation of the contentious Special Public Works Program aimed at creating 7,774 jobs across the, 774,000 jobs across the country, urging the Ministry of Finance to only release funds for the implementation of the program if such implementation complied with due process. Appropriation Act 2020 and the National Directorate of Employment NDE Act. The House also called to question the legality of the office of the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Mr. Festus Keyamo, stating that by the laws that are presently constituted, the NDE is an implementing agency with the Minister of Labor, not Minister of State. An aberration and indeed an entity unknown to the law is the supervising minister. It therefore additionally urged President Muhammadu Buhari to direct Minister of Labor, recognized by the Constitution and NDE Act, to live up to his lawful responsibility of supervising the NDE, ensuring non-interference and meddlesomeness by any persons in the running of the agency. The resolutions were equal to a motion: the need to uphold the NDE Act and the implementation of the Special Public Works Program sponsored by the Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Toby Okechukwu, and the Chairman, House Committee on Aviation, Honorable Nolim Naji, at the House plenary on Tuesday. Moving ahead, the suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, says some of the vehicles recovered from the EFCC were auctioned to the Presidential Villa, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, as well as the Federal Inland Revenue Services and other agencies. He further stated that some of these agencies had not paid for the vehicles, but there was an arrangement that the money would be deducted from their financial allocation. And the information keeps coming out. And moving ahead now, the Nigeria Airspace Management Agency on Tuesday said the country's airspace was not shut to international airlines. It said the clarification was necessary as a result of insinuations in certain quarters that Nigerian airports had been shut to international flights until the middle of October 2020. He says indeed such speculations are entirely untrue. The General Manager of Public Affairs, Nama Khalid Emele, said in a statement. He said that they are not shut to foreign airlines, but they haven't authorized flights as yet. All right, this is some of the issues making the headlines in the political space, and this morning our focus is on the state of public utilities in the Southeast, the issues and the concerns. Remember, we are having a TriCast here on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. You can listen to us on our website, 95dreamfm.com. You can listen to the audio stream. You can listen to the video stream on 3 platforms. On YouTube, it's Dream TV Enugu. Remember to subscribe and drop your comments there. On Facebook, it's 925 Dream FM. And on Twitter, it is Dream 925 FM. Remember to send us a WhatsApp message on 0902 0020 925. From Imo, Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, and Enugu, we have different tales. So some people will say it's different strokes for different folks. What is the state of public utilities in the Southeast? When we refer to the Southeast, we're basically referring to the states. So we'll take a look at the state of public utilities in the Southeast. And I'm joined this morning on the program by Chief Charlie Okwesili. He's a former director, News, Enugu State Broadcasting Service. ESBS. He is a public relations consultant and a mass communication scholar. Good morning to you, sir. Good to see you again.
Good morning, my dear listener.
And we also have in the studio with us Barrister Chijo Kabo. He is an Enugu-based lawyer and a political analyst. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
And thanks for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We've had this discussion previously, but we merely scratched the surface when we had the Special Assistant to the Governor on Public Communications. That's talking about Chupunoyo Koreke. He was here with Ebubago Kafo, and we merely, the conversation was dominated with some of the controversies around projects done already in Enugu. But we'll have to take a look at the wider Southeast region, what has happened in terms of public utilities. Barrister Chijo Kabo, talk to us about your own assessment of what has taken place. Maybe you might want to take it 20 years since 1999. You might want to take it from there. What you have seen. Have we seen an improvement or have we seen a decline in the state of public utilities in the Southeast?
Well, thank you again. I think that just like in the Nigerian state, that our state of being, the state of our utilities really are crumbling, as it were. Is not anything good to write home about. And is it in terms of industries that provide employment and provide services? If you look at the Southeast, you will discover that many, if not most, of the industries were established by the administration of the Right Honorable Dr. M.I. Opara, the then Premier of Eastern Region. They are scattered all over the place. Look at Hotel Presidential, look at Niger Sim, look at Niger Gas, look at the Golden Guinea Breweries, the glass industry at Aba, and several other, even beyond the Southeast, the Ogudu Cattle Ranch and so on. Those are all legacies. Look at the palm plantations. Generally the other plantations. How are they working in terms of agriculture? Are we saying that we are consolidating on them or we are going backwards? Look at the quality of roads. It pains me really that sometimes roads that are opened up with lots of pomp and pageantry, you discover that just one rain and the entire thing is washed away. So is it in terms of water supply? I remember that as a boy growing up, I remember in those days that we used to have running water from taps. We used to have public taps and people go to fetch water. Do we still have those things in existence today in our various states? I really don't think so. So I think that rather than even standing and consolidating on what we had, unfortunately, we have really gone backwards. Look at the incidence of flooding and threats to human lives. Have we really addressed those ones? Every time in Anambra State, you have flooding. Even in Enugu, within Enugu metropolis, there are several places that flood. In fact, 2-3 years ago in my neighborhood, a young boy of 17 years or thereabout was drowned in the Robinson Canal that goes behind the Robinson Close. And we will talk more about that. So, till now, government has not done anything to alleviate the situation. And when the rains come again, it will still kill people. It will still damage people's things. In Anambra, it is the same, and virtually in the Southeast. Look at the Aba textile mills that we had. Is it still in existence? So all these are utilities, but maybe as we go on, we will begin to situate them. But I would like to start from where I live, that is Enugu, to begin to reach out to the other Southeast states.
All right then. Chief Charlie Okwesili, I'm sure you have some good knowledge of the Southeast. Talk to us about what you think about the state of public utilities.
It's not going to be all sorrow, all true. I want to let my brother, Dr. Abu, know the Golden Guinea breweries has started functioning. At least I sighted their drink somewhere at 9 miles here in Enugu recently. But when we talk about public utility, we are thinking about those facilities that are brought to bear to serve the people by the government, if we go by that, and they are attached to institutions of government to manage. In other words, there is an economic definition of public utility, there is the legal aspect, and I thank my dear brother who opened up from the social vistas what this public utility stands, in our minds. We have delved into the concerns. And when we talk about concerns, we are thinking about the worries, the anxieties which has come to bear based on the state of these public utilities. As far as I'm concerned, things have continued to dilapidate. They have not been what they used to be. Think about electricity. As I'm talking to you now, gas is being planned to be piped up north from the south. And there's no arrangement for it to come to the southeast, to the northeastern part. No arrangement whatsoever, as I'm talking to you. So government is responsible for this downfall. And as far as I'm concerned, if the government is talking about diversification, they have started by, what do I call it, making private sector come in. If the government wants to diversify by means of increasing their revenue, this diversification and the involvement of public sector, private sector into it should continue. But there is something lacking, especially in the southeast. Especially in the southeast. Water do not run. If they run in sections that government favors. Electricity is somehow epileptic. Despite billions of naira sunk into it about 10 years ago, nothing, as a matter of fact, is working. And you know that public utility has institutions that take care of them. Talk about water corporation. They go about knocking on the gates of people who don't have water supplied by government. Sometimes those are set out to fight them because people are angry. Imagine that wells are being dug in every corner of the street. Think about the geographical implication of that, the environmental implication of that. If holes are dug every pole, with time, there will be something. The earth will be forced to move. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. The earth will be forced to move. Government is not interested. If you want to dig a well, they come. But they will not supply you water. Eswama will come and say you must pay. Common well that is about 20 feet, 15 feet, some places. So what I'm saying is that the state of public utility within the southeast is nothing to write home about. And I have not seen any change. The legislature has not come in. The government, even though they budget every year for this, nothing is happening. Water, electricity, gas supply, and all those things that should make life meaningful to the people. Think about the roads. Recently they started patching roads in Enugu. When the rain came in, you eroded all of them. I think they have stopped. So people should be thinking, outside the box. Involve the people so that they can talk for you to assimilate whatever that's meaningful and include it in your policies. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Chijokabo, let's take another look at you raised an issue which really bordered on drainage. You talked about someone being washed away. Do you think we've seen an improvement? One would think that with all the fine movies we watch and all the fine places people visit, that they see a lot of nice things, and we are presented with an opportunity to have a better life. Are we seeing that reflect in how projects are either executed or planned in this part of the world, especially in terms of utilities that really touch on the lives of people? Are we seeing such improvement?
Quite frankly, it is difficult to see. You see, I think that may have informed the Right Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe to say that Nigerians have learnt nothing and forgotten nothing of the lessons taught by history. I thought that the essence of history is that we benefit from the lessons of others, the experiences of others, and with the benefit of hindsight, make a better planning so that we avoid falling into such pitfalls. But unfortunately, that is not the case. You remember at some time in the past, even up to the First Republic and I think parts of the Second Republic, we used to have, professional engineers working in the works ministry. We used to have the public works department. We used to have people who were called the road overseers. These are people that go around, monitor the roads and see wherever there is a problem, those problems will be fixed. And such problems are usually fixed at night, not at peak periods when people are going to work, not in the daytime. I mean, Sullivan Chime, who transformed the road networks in Enugu, as it were, and turned it into an emerging city, which was acknowledged worldwide, did not for one day come to do any fanfare to commission it. But today, what do we have? We knew the rains were coming. Our engineers in the ministry should have advised the governor. I don't blame the governor much, but they should have advised him this is not the most auspicious time. And then the thing will be fixed so that when you cut, you come at night to cut and to repair. When people come in the morning, they praise you for it. I remember as a boy when Chief Jim Obodo, the senator, was the governor of the old Anambra. I remember when he resurfaced the 9th mile, the Milliken Hill 9th mile road. It was at night. I also remember the college road that passed through Queen's School down to Unike and so on. He did it at night. And people will pass in the daytime. When they come in the mornings, they will see with floodlights. Do we still have those? Do we still have the Public Works Department? Look at the recent road constructed by the state government, Enugu state government, I mean. The road that leads to MNN, to Adoration Ground and so on. It was commissioned with pomp and pageantry. Just one rainfall. The road was washed away. What does it show? Lack of proper professional supervision. It is not the governor that will do that. He has people working purportedly as engineers in the Ministry of Works. What are they doing? The same thing happened in the Amankongo road from off the express to the old Nsuka road and 9th mile. What happened? That road was completely washed off when the rains came. It had to be redone at great public expense. Look at even the express road, the Enugu-Onitsha Express, from the new market to Aguabo side. It was done by the government up to the interchange. And when the 1 or 2 rains, the whole thing was, patched up again. So that has been the recurrent thing. And so you don't blame the governor, he's not a professional engineer. But you blame those who are in the ministries, those professionals. What are they doing? But worst of all, look at the state of erosion in the southeast. Most of the communities cannot cope with that. Look at even in the city center, there's a canal that moves behind Robinson Close that connects Robinson Street and Bishop Aniogu Street. In fact, when Sullivan was governor, I think the people, the engineers, rechanneled all the water from Owa and the southern extension through that channel. If you come to that channel, the beginning of it at Robinson is wide. But as you go in to join Bishop Aniogu, land speculators and those who want to claim more lands narrowed it. And when you get to Bishop Aniogu, which is the next street, that's the end of the canal. And so water just hits the road and continues to spread into people's houses. And the volume of water is so much. That road, to get it right, is to get back the extension to the original and then cut it through Bishop Aniogu up to Miliani at, what is it called, at Timber Shade, which is a natural receptacle. You don't check erosions by stopping midway. I commend what a new map, has done and is doing, particularly in the colliery school Enugu axis. A huge erosion site that they contained. And I commend the state government for that. But I think the technocrats must sit up. They have not been doing a lot. Even in water, that my co-discussant, Chief Okwesili, mentioned. You will remember with lots of nostalgia. Even in my own village, right from the times of General Agu Ironsi, there was a tap put in place that the entire community will go and fetch from. Today, it has become a mere relic of history. And such is the situation all over. And is unfortunate. That of Robinson killed a 17-year-old boy, as I said. And if it is left like that, many people will still die. And it continues to empty into people's houses. and rendering the houses, the properties around there valueless, because it's continually eroding the foundation of those houses. And if there's housing collapse, many more people will still die.
All right. Thank you so much. Chief Charlie Okwesili, talk to us
about...
about...
expand onto what my dear barrister said.
All right.
You know, when you talk about public utilities, you are equally talking about infrastructure. And it delves into what the institutions that manage them ought to be doing. So, in other words, government ought to ensure full engagement of its staff. We have the highest quality of engineers in the state ministries, and I can assure you they are all underemployed today. Government gives out these jobs to faithful people who are what do I call them, attaches, political attaches to them, and they do it flimsily, take the money, you know, you take your own, I take my own. What is happening in Enugu is not different from what is happening in Anambra State. The worst is in Abia and Imo, where there's no proper, seemingly no coordination at all. I don't know whether you have been to Aba. Aba has been a problem from beginning. Successfully, each administration comes and talks about what bogus issues and how they're going to tackle, and they end up doing nothing. Enugu is, because we can talk here, I don't know if other people are so vociferous in terms of letting the government know what they ought to do. But I want to emphasize this morning the need for government to involve its staff and hold them responsible. Government to involve the staff in the Ministry of Works, staff in all these institutions that manage public utility, to be accountable, because they are paid.
But it's easy actually to say that these people should be held accountable.
Yes.
Do you know whether they are given the opportunity to perform these duties?
I have some of them of my friends. Some of them end up coming to the office and go for secondary assignments, which belongs to them, and they are not being properly used. And I want to say, in addition, we used to have under the military administration in public toilets. These are conveniences, are part of public facility utility. That should be there. Abroad, you have what they call rest places. You are moving on the highway and you feel pressed, or you feel like you need to have a nap. You go, just take a tee off from the road, pay a little token, you can sleep for 1 hour and continue with your journey. I'm not saying you should be provided here, because we are still fighting for physiological needs. But I'm saying that government should pay attention to what people need at the time they need it. As far as I'm concerned, every aspect of public utility in Enugu and the rest of the states in the southeast is so bad. It's so bad.
Okay, then let's talk about industries, Dr. Chijokabo, because some of the things people draw services from are some of these industries that people talk all the time about. There's this set of words people use about restoring Enugu to East from our glory, restoring the southeast to East from our glory. Now, what comes to mind is the fact that the southeast Nigeria was the fastest growing economy in the 60s. So that's about the only former glory anyone can remember. Or is there any other glory that any state in the southeast should remember and can remember?
Well, I think to talk about industries really and the state of the economy, I think it is paramount that we remember that. Politically, I think Zeke led the way and opened up opportunities for those who are coming behind. So the East was politically conscious. But for a number of reasons, I will not join to re-echo what Dr. K. Mbadiwe said in the Second Republic, that his mission in politics was to bring back the Igbos from psychological defeatism to political glorification. But be that as it may, to talk strictly about industries, you will agree with me that in the First Republic, Dr. Okpara and his team did very well, not depending on oil money, but purely on agriculture. They were able to establish, indelible footprints on the sands of time. The University of Nigeria is a shining example. Then the industries, Niger same, it's still there. I don't know whether it's still operational or it has its operation has been suspended. Talk of Hotel Presidential. Each time I pass through Independence Layout and see our own Hotel Presidential, I weep. The place is almost a grazing center for cattle. Can you compare it with that of Port Harcourt, established at the same time by Dr. Emma Okpara government? That one is flourishing. Look at industries. Look at the Niger gas. Look at the Niger steel. Look at even the Hobodim machine tools industry, established by the government of Senator Jim Mobodo. Where is it today? Look at the AVOP, established by government of, I think, the military government before Chief Mobodo took over and consolidated on it. What is happening to AVOP? Governor Sullivan Chima was there for 8 years. A factory, an industry located in your own local government. He could not revamp it to help employ more graduates.
But in fairness to everyone in the value chain, do you think perhaps an industry like AVOP can easily be revamped?
Why not? Why not? I mean, why not? It was constructed by industry. What we will spend is money, and if we cannot, I think Chief Okwesili talked about the PPP, private-public partnership. We can bring in people, bring in investors to get it on. There's such an industry should not be left. What of Oge cashew industries? Do we need much to revamp it? We still have cashew plantations. Why can't we have oil plantations? I remember when Omeruo was military governor in Old Anambra State. He talked about the Palm for Palm project. I don't know whether we have abandoned it. We can still bring it back. Okpala thrived on the base of agriculture. Why are we not doing it? It's only on newspapers that we are doing it. My learned friend, who is the chairman of Ezeaguba, Barrister Nnadimon Fokansi, talked about they are bringing people, investors from China, to convert waste, solid waste, into valuable things and recycle it in the economy. It would have employed people. But for bureaucratic reasons, it has not taken off till today. Now, what other industry has the present administration, not just the particular one of Governor Guanyi, but subsequent ones since the Fourth Republic, what have they brought to the table in terms of industry? Practically nothing. So that you pay salaries, that you perhaps patch up roads. As far as I'm concerned, well, it's fair enough, but it is not good enough. Then if you go to Ebonyi State, that's perhaps a shining exception, I must say. In terms of infrastructure, in terms of road infrastructure, in terms of even industries. Look at their rice project. Look at their rice mills. Those places are thriving. Look at the flyovers, overhead bridges, all over in fact, if you're new in Abakaliki, you may miss your way. That is the kind of thing that we want, you know. But in the southeast.
But the poverty indices is still the highest in the southeast.
No. I don't.
Well, poverty indices, when you compare it with some other
because we need to balance what we are saying.
When you compare it with other geopolitical zones, you will discover that it is not. It is amongst the best in the country, because the Igbo man himself is an enterprising person who is always committed to doing work and achieving results. What we simply need as migrant traders and so on is good infrastructure. Be able to move from point A to point B. The Igbo man will survive. That is what we need. And if our governors can provide that, which unfortunately they are not, look at Aba. It is a wealth sitting on waste. No infrastructure, nothing to do. Apart from the time of intervention of the late former Governor Sam Mbakwe, I don't think any other government has made any passionate attempt to uplift the status of Aba.
All right,
let's get on from what Dr. Abu, enunciated here. You recall that we have these natural gifts in terms of biodiversities, in terms of okay, let's take palm trees, for instance. Until recently, it was the second income earning sources for people in Imo State, down to Abia State, because it's a dense vegetation they have. Remember too, of course, some of us will remember with nostalgia when Emma Okpara was there in power. He tried to use the youths in terms of agriculture, put them in the farms. And that is from where the current NYSC took its cue. I don't know whether you are following. Now, Today we have our graduates doing nothing, and government is busy paying salaries and assuaging boiling nerves with money. Think about these 74,000 jobs that are said to be being created. Such monies, if allocated to local governments, can establish small industries in communities in terms of comparative advantage, given the crops they grow. For instance, the cashew industry established under the ENDC, Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation, was thriving, employing thousands of people, made many millionaires. Today, those trees are still there. If since we started talking about revamping the economy, the government had decided to clear those old ones and plant what they call the jumbo versions of these plants. Today, what would have been earning from agriculture was so great. Have you seen what is happening in Cross River State in terms of rice? They have the best rice mill in Africa. If you see the area coverage of their rice plantation and the degree of the graduates and non-graduates involved in planting, harvesting, harnessing, and milling them, you know that in time to come, Cross River will be counted as number one. As it's happening here, it's happening in the north. But there is competition going on. If we keep speaking English and our legislatures are just simple stamping the executive decisions, we are going nowhere. I am not satisfied with what is happening today because I have seen poverty. And if all these things we are talking about means government injecting little funds, and then private people can take over. There was one at MNF flour mills. Go to that place today. This side, it doesn't take much. Invite foreigners to do that if you don't have money. Our people are in Lagos, they don't know what to do with their money. You can hand over these things to them. You talked about Avop. Avop was burnt totally to the ground. And you cannot even see that kind of facility now to buy. But what does it take a government to sit down with Anambra State government, because it's joint ownership? What do we do with this? You can balance off whatever Anambra State has and then engage our people who are abroad. They bring in materials to repair the facility and they start working. Because what we are having now is rounding paper tree, no climbing. That's a nation without movement. Yes, that's what we have.
Exactly. We need to hear from those listening to us and those watching on social media. This is Political Voices on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Today we're taking a look at the state of utilities in the southeast, the issues and concerns. Joining us this morning is Chief Charlie Okwesili, former Director of News, Enugu State Broadcasting Service, and Barrister Chiji Okabo, Enugu-based lawyer and a political analyst. And of course, you can watch what we're doing here. You can watch us live on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel at Dream TV Enugu. Remember to subscribe and turn on notification so you can join the experience of the amazing programs we have in videos. And of course, on Facebook it's 925 Dream FM, and on Twitter it is Dream 925 FM. You can call us or send a WhatsApp message to 0902 0020 925, or you can better still call 0809 8888 925. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right then. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and location?
This is Barnabas Ellis calling from Suka.
Barnabas, you're welcome.
Yeah. Ellis, I must commend you for this topic. LSCC, what is killing this South is personal interest. That is what the killing South is. If this personal interest is put aside, this Southeast will be a great one. It will dissociate from the dead state. And I must tell you, if this thing is rightly done, Southeast will look in another shape. And I pray that this thing will soon come back to life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your call. Call us on 0902 0020 or 0809 8888 Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's the name and location?
Okay, my name is
You're welcome.
Okay. So what is actually going on in this country is very, very appalling. Just like in Aba, like one of the guests in the studio said, Aba is a world sitting on waste. Do you understand? People from all over.
Okay, do call us back. It's 0809 20. I'm mixing it up now. 0890200920925 and 0809 8888 Hello, good morning. All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
What's the name and location?
My name is Ebe. I'm calling from No Market.
You're welcome.
I call in to appreciate your guests. They are making a point.
Okay.
If our governors will look down into this particular ideology they are bringing out this morning, if they can pay attention to the social media, more especially women from this morning, I will tell you, the Southeast will be like a Japan of food. Let me tell you, we have everything here. But our governors keep on neglecting their responsibility. Like one of your guests said here, we keep on pointing at what Obama have done. All these guys who have done all these things, my dear errors, their establishments are there, only to revive it, only to continue from where they have stopped. Like for instance, we give power station. If peradventure our governors will come together to put infrastructure, to put that place in a good shape. Let me tell you, there are many, all these our people in Lagos, investing in Lagos, running down to Lagos. They will come down to that place. Look at the Olympic Express Road. Empty land, just lavishing like that. So your guests are making a point. My prayer is our governors pay attention to our radio. This morning they will learn a lot.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. On Facebook, Emmanuel Chimobi is saying, that's 925 Dream FM, the government of the Southeast are living in fool's paradise, thinking the privileges, most of the public utilities are even closed down, though we are now going from bad to worse. Sending us the message from Accra, Ghana. And Cyprian Nicodemus Mbuebu says that the Southeast, the state of utilities in the Southeast is in shambles, and that secondly, one can talk of a good state of public utilities in a state where rule of law and checks and balances are in place. Okay, Ohane Paul says, please direct your focus on the water industry. So much investment there, but nothing to show for it. We'll come to the issue of water. Dry season is coming. Water tankers are warming up to take over all the roads. Okay, Comrade Jeremiah Kore, talking to us from United Arab Emirates, says awarding contracts to incompetent contractors for political patronage is the main cause of below standard projects. Despite over bloated figures that deliver poor quality projects. Ofuna Dikland from Alikikwo in Ebonyi State says, I think government, in the spirit of maintenance culture, to ensure that some of the industries established before the regime are functional. Okay, on WhatsApp, we have a message from Sumto Chukwu from Oka. He says, I think our behavior towards public utilities starts from the way we handle our personal facilities. Generally, we have poor empathy working together, and this is a major reason we don't care for development. Everything is just there unless it involves personal pocket. All right, we'll take some more calls now. Hello, good morning. All right, then we'll take another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and location?
My name is Linus from UT.
Linus, you're welcome.
Okay, my special greeting to your guests this morning. They are doing a very good analysis to the topic we have this morning. I love utilities. Let me tell you, the governors, I must tell you, the governors of the Southeast, they refuse to develop the region. And by the time some of these governors left office sometime 2007,
2011 and 2007, they were accused of billions of money looted from the state treasury. The case has still there in the courts. And as you imagine that money they looted from the office is invested in an abandoned ideal point in the state or in the region or developmental part of the region. You will imagine that this place today will turn to Malaysia. This south region will turn, this south region, east region will turn to Malaysia. And as you come to my community, you have Enugu State Agricultural Farm abandoned with a lot of tractors on ground not functioning, with a lot of staff strength who pay on monthly basis. What are we talking about here? The governments are criminally minded countries. They refuse to develop our region. That's what I'm saying,
brother, I hope that if your father is a governor, you will cherish the language you're using. Thank you. Just keep your comments temperate. You don't explode on radio.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
All right.
Everybody in the top issue.
Just take it easy. I mean, you can put across your feelings without insulting anybody. That is very possible. Thank you. Thank you for talking to us. All right. So we'll take one more call. I think 090200200925 and see who's there. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name and location?
Good morning to you, Alex.
Good morning. What's the name?
This is Leslie from from Osaka.
You're welcome.
All right. The truth of the matter is that most Southeasterners do not really understand or know what is going on in the Southeast. Most of our leaders are not doing what they are doing because they want it that way. Southeast has been deceived for a very long time. I'm telling you that most of our governments want to do a lot of jobs, but when they want to develop the Southeast region, they are being stopped from behind. So our leaders should not be condemned totally. Most of them know what they like, they know the right thing to do. Okay. Look at why do you think that Southeast have not been able to organize their own Southeast security outfit? We started it first. But we have told secretly.
Are you sure you started it first? All right. Well, because of time, we'll have to let you go. Thank you so much for your call on the program. So many other messages here and there. I'll just take one from Facebook. Nats Mwoko says, until we'll stop seeing roads as dividends of democracy, the better. Apart from the air and water, road ranks next to the basic needs to be provided, but we politicize it and make gains out of it. Gentlemen, I'll start with you, Barrister Chijokabo. Water is a big deal. I mean, someone just reminded us that it's not as it used to be. I mean, I recall as a primary school pupil, you come back and you take a shower through a public tap. But they used to take showers in your public tap. Dr. Chijokabo.
Well, in most houses, except those who buy and install overhead tanks and buy water or pump water from the wells dug in their compounds, I think showers and baths are, merely ornamental these days. They are just there, put in place for the sake of putting them. People go to take water with their buckets and then bath. So sometimes that is also my concern when people keep calling on governments to reopen schools and all that. Have you ever visited the toilet end of a university or polytechnic hostel in recent times to ease yourself? It's a wonderful spectacle. No water. You visit the classrooms, I teach in the classes, students are packed together. No social distancing. No even cross ventilation. A room that should, sorry I'm digressing, that should take 100 people is accommodating over 500. Some are hanging on the windows and so on. Is that why we should reopen and then the what we face in the pandemic will increase.
You are seriously forcing an agenda now.
Why I am saying it is that we talk about running water, and it's all about water. Do we have water in Enugu? We used to have. In coal camp in those days, I remember people sometimes exercise their muscles and public taps, trying to fetch before the other. Do we have public taps that are running? Even in the midst of this pandemic, do we have running water? These are things we don't. Take the housing infrastructure. Do you know the degree of housing deficit we have in the southeast generally? You remember when Jim Obodo was there? And during the Second Republic, when Shagari was there, they embarked on practical provision of houses. Look at the federal housing. Look at the Trans-Ekulu housing estate. Jim built for the rich, he built for the middle class, he built for the poor. If you want rooms, you will get. If you want bungalows, you will get. If you want duplexes, you will get. If you want flats, you will get. Is that what we have today? What we have is when we see a little space of land, we take it and build duplexes, and it is 30 million, 50 million. How many people can afford it? We are not addressing housing deficits. And housing goes with water, because there must be shelter for people. Why must everything be concentrated within the old Enugu? Can't we reach out? Can't we spread out? You know our people are traders. Look at the modern international market conceived by the Chimaroke administration. Along the express by Nsude, that place is turned into a bush. It's been abandoned. The structures there have been left over these years. Why can't we put it in place and get people engaged in that place? We talked about stopping trailers from entering Enugu. All these trailers are coming from the north. They stop somewhere and then we transload what they have in small buses. That was the plan. Why hasn't it been implemented? So these are some of the things, some of the utilities we're talking about. Then our little roads, these trucks will come and destroy it. And then, as my old teacher would say, the continuity continues. That is what we are.
Please, Chief Charlie Okwesili, I need you to come into the conversation. The issue of water is serious, and a few other things, but water is very serious. Someone said there's water every day, water everywhere, but there's none to drink.
Remember, Benicia, I did talk about the dangers of allowing wells dug everywhere. With time, the earth moves, and there will be massive collapse of our cities. There's need for water. The federal government has talked about it. Even while we are talking about having water sourced locally, people are thinking about legislative act that will permit a particular ethnic group to own surface waters across the country. This is our country. To own surface waters so that they can feed their cattle. Be it as it may, we are in a situation where the common man doesn't know what to do. I source my own water. I source my own electricity. And when every house puts on generator, you can't even sleep, man. The psychological impact is so much, it's emotional. You can't think well.
The fumes.
In fact, when the generator goes off and you want to lie down, you still begin to hear the noise reverberating, even though the machines have been put off. But permit me to say this. We have our people in the National Assembly. There are certain decongestions concerning what they call the exclusive items in the exclusive list that should be done instantly. Ownership of railways and maintenance of railway system. It should be decentralized. The same thing with electricity. The same thing with roads, who they call federal roads, and they don't want to do anything about them. These things should be delisted from the exclusive list, and states held responsible for not doing them. But I was so happy 2 days ago when the Senate had Senator Bebia, who was part of them. Was it the Senate or the National Assembly? And the man was saying that a certain percentage of the contracts, if not 90%, were doled out to members of the Senate.
And they got, and of course, the Speaker gave him 24 to 48 hours to publish the names.
He says the records are there. He can't be telling lies, given the reasonable capturing they have done of him. He can't be. He wants to excruciate himself, to remove himself from the system. He's in trouble. The greater part of the contract were awarded to them. Are you getting me? If the government can decentralize this, it means that senators who want contract can now come to the state, and there are people who hold them responsible. This is the reason why people are talking about restructuring. Nigeria is too large to be managed the way we are doing it. It's too large, and there is so much ethnocentrism that affects whatever government does. Tell me why we should be running this way. We are 4 years gone. We're into the second 4 years. Still, the same thing is happening. So the states are borrowing from what is happening at the center. And we have spoken so much about need for people to be held responsible. The state government, as it is, should hold their engineers responsible for jobs being done in the state, so that you can go to his house and bring him out. You did this road, and I paid you. I paid the contractor through you, because it is you who issued the certificate of performance. Good. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Not until we start doing it, people cannot stand on their toes. Pay them extra money, yes, apart from what you give them as what do you call it, salary. Right. Pay them extra money. Let them do it well. Whoever that fails to do it should be held responsible. Thank you very much.
Just very quickly, there's a message on YouTube channel. Chimanwood says, Alex, the topic is a good one. I suggest that the governors and the elite should come together to build more industries to employ our youths. Again, our orientation on maintenance culture should change. All right, gentlemen, I'll just give you 30 seconds each to give us your final thoughts. Dr. Chijokabo, let's have your final thoughts on the state of utilities in the southeast.
It is appalling, but I think that our governors can do something. Don't forget, when Adia late Emeka Umera was a military administrator, he established the VSS, the Volunteer Service Scheme, which is akin to what my co-discussant Chief Okwesili talked about, that Opara's administration established. There is nothing stopping the Enugu state government and the governments of the southeast from mobilizing our youths. Get them into these public works, get them into agriculture under volunteer service scheme. Under that scheme, the VSS mill at 9th Mile was established. I am not so sure that they are still maintaining it. Under that scheme,
the land has since gone.
They have converted it into an estate.
Private,
you know, must we build everything, duplexes everywhere?
Okay.
That's a problem.
All right.
Chief Charlie, my brother, yes. we are really in trouble. You see, I want to start from the issue of housing. Some of us who are qualified to own houses after having served 35 years in government applies for land, they won't give it to you because you're not a political crony. I've applied more than 3 times, nobody has listened to me. Give me a land to build my house, I will pay. Are you getting me? But they want me to go to Ugogo and live in the state where I'm born. See, unless we start holding people responsible, things will never work. This government should stream its activities to rural communities. I come from Amankonde. We are cheated. We are not represented. We don't have this public utility you are talking about. People are still defecating in the bush. I'm telling you.
Okay then. Well, that's a whole lot of issues now. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Chief Charlie Okwesili, former Director of News, Enugu State Broadcasting Service. He's also a public relations consultant. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And Dr. Chijokabo, Enugu-based lawyer and a political analyst. Thank you.
Thank you very much for
the program. A special thanks to my production assistant, Lotana Okereke, and my producer, Oke Odogu. Political Voices returns same time tomorrow. Up next is the Dream FM News at 10. My name is Alex Obodo. Good morning.
Person wey no know why you make to make money na him dey die on top of wahala. If you therefore be fish farmer and you wan sabi the secret code to dey make money without wahala, na ala aqua feed